Welcome back, everybody, to our second game of the night. This is round 2 of the 6th Invitational 2020 Open Qualifiers, number 3. We have not Overdose versus Strict Squad. Again, I'm your caster, Benny Yao, joined by the lovely Red Cube. How's it going?
It's going very, very good, especially after that that very active game lobby we had coming before we started the matchup. It was absolutely hilarious. But we are going to be going on to Bank. We saw Border last time around, and Bank is a lot more. It's a bit more of a breath of fresh air. We see Border all the time. Bank isn't played as much. It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. And not Overdose versus Shook Squad, I think, is going to be a little bit closer than the last match we saw. But going into the bans, Habana off the board first. Absolutely no surprises there.
Yeah, I get there on the Heart Breacher because, you know, Heart Breaching is very much required on a lot of these sites. So you go downstairs to Archer, Lockers, and CCTV. Having both a Habana and a Thermite is pretty much the best way to do it. But now they have to bring a Maverick instead if they want to get open those hatches or sacrifice an economic charge that you might need later on in the place. So the probably the Maverick will be a lot more time. But as I said, that Maverick's the board too, so I actually lied. That's not gonna be a thing either.
Yeah, so this basically these bans are forcing the attacking team to be very, very careful with their Thermite, because if they lose their Thermite, that is the only hard breacher left. And so forcing that Maverick ban, forcing the Habana ban, it's going to put a lot of pressure on your support players. And not Overdose deciding to go with that, even though they are on attack first. It's not something that's very surprising, but it's just kind of, you don't see it all the time. Echo being off the board, absolutely no surprises there. Probably Maestro or Mira coming off the board here, and it's going to be a pretty typical ban phase. So on a map like Bank, this is kind of the lineup of bans that you see very, very often. Sometimes that Maverick will maybe be swapped out for a Thatcher, a Nomad, maybe a Jackal. Capitao, just like some comfort picks, but Maverick, he fits right into that slot, and so far, no surprises.
Yeah, not a whole lot of changes here. Definitely having both Heart Breaches off the board, though, will make the attacking life that much more difficult. Bank can be decided in a sense, but it really depends. It's hard to say. Either way, we're going to be starting off here on Executive C Lounge on the second floor. Instead, rather than going to the basement, you'll see a Clash coming up from Braxton. Also, a Kavera being 6-picked off of onto a Pulse makes sense here for that downstairs play. And there's a Sledge rather than a Lion. It's interesting choices of going to the second floor.
Yeah, so bring the Sledge maybe for the grenades, but in my opinion, I'd rather have a Buck, because Buck is just a little bit more versatile in those types of situations, because you can go underneath the site and open up the holes, whereas with a Sledge, you can only go horizontally or below, and, well, you can't really go more below. You can't really go, yeah, you can't bust open the roof of this site because it's at the very, very top of the
what if
map.
you could do that? What if you could get on top of the desk and throw the hammer?
Yeah, you just start smashing away. You know, that would be very interesting. But so it's a little bit interesting that we are seeing the Sledge being brought out. Maybe they thought it was going to be a downstairs defense, but either way, in my opinion, I think a Buck is just a little bit more viable. Some people just like the gun of the Sledge, so that's probably why we are seeing the Sledge in play here. So Jackal, absolutely no surprise on Bank. Jackal on Bank is a very, very dangerous operator and can basically single-handedly clear out roamers all by himself, maybe with some support from drones, but Jackal is still a very powerful operator, and on the map like Bank that is so big, it is going to be basically a must-needed operator if he's not banned.
Very pretty much true, especially on these aggressive plays, especially on a map like Bank. We said before, just like we said from Red Cube, it's a huge map sometimes. And again, we have the aggression from below. We have Needling on the Pulse. That's gonna be the first kind of duty here for them. They don't have to do it, but it would make things easier not to get C4'd from below here for not Overdose. As you see Toddy pushing it already in square, that's usually where the first point you'll see a lot of teams take. They have the Thermite Jig around to open the wall up, but again, they are figuring out that someone is definitely below. Smithers already in open area, so let's see how exactly they get rid of Pulse. Looks like he's accompanied by Garuda as well on the Jaeger too.
Yeah, so open area control has been gifted to the attacking team, but there is still a Pulse lurking about in Archives, and this is a very, very nice position for the Pulse to be playing, as well as you got the cheeky bullet holes here from Garuda, and could find the like, so I think that might be the Sledge out there, but I'm not 100% positive. So open area has been given to the attackers, but again, the Pulse is the main issue right now and is also the main focus of this roam clear. And you can see 3 operators, Zofia, Jackal, and I think that Thatcher are all focused on this Pulse, trying to pinch him out and just trying to confirm this kill, because that C4 later half of the round is going to be very, very deadly. But Benji, deadly as Benji is able to find the first kill. That's going to be onto the sledge, so goodbye to your grenades. And it also makes Pulse just a little bit easier to maybe escape from this situation, but his location is still being prowled upon as so many attackers are waiting to step onto his neck.
I definitely agree. There was a great, actually a really good entry position from Neely. It's another one onto Evil Cloud. Evil Cloud just runs into tellers, and a really good, support position from Braxton, or from not Braxton, from Benji inside of the tellers. I think he was on blue stairs, and he came up blue stairs, get the kill onto Toddy. And now you have two attackers already in archives pushing through onto Nile. He's wasting more than anything. He's wasting time or anything. He loses the fight to finally to Smithers, and that'll be your Roma off the board. What a cost though! You already lost your Jackal and your Sledge. Can his attacks still work out? But also get Garuda, and now it's a 3v3. Still possible. 30 seconds left to go.
Benji is able to find another one, but it's going to be immediately refragged by the Thermite. And that's going to be a C4 off the board because I don't think Benji did throw it yet. You have a Clash and a Castle on the side of defense, and not really your best site defending operators, especially late in the round like this. And the duo of Thatcher and Thermite is probably who you'd want to put your money on. But time is ticking away very, very quickly, and that's probably going to be the 6-man effect that is probably going to give the defense this round. But you never know. You have 5 seconds left, and anything could happen. But you either got to go for that plant or go for kills. And right now, it looks like they're not going for either. Ult is able to find one, and it's going to be a one-on-one. And it doesn't matter, as Roadrunner is able to find 2, and Defenders, they had time on their side, and they also had guns on their side, and they're able to win out the first round there.
That was a surprising round, but also a really good round for Roman-wise from Shook Squad to just waste as much time as possible and not only give only 30 seconds, but take around 4 or 3 other attackers on the side of that Overdose, causing them to have to, well, at least they had the Thermite and the Thatcher for the last few seconds, but there's no real lot of utility on the side of them to help them out. There wasn't much they could do besides take the gunfights and lose them, as the Defenders, they had the angles they needed. Roadrunner in a position to take out both the attackers as they walk into the sites. We'll see them go downstairs or downstairs to tellers and archives, not to CCTV.
That's very interesting. CCTV is definitely one of those sites on, I think out of the entire map pool, CCTV is one of the most iconic sites for Defenders, and the fact that we haven't seen it yet is very surprising. You're most likely going to see it in the first round, and if you don't see it in the first round, you're going to see it in the second round, but that's not going to be the case here. We haven't seen it yet, and now this is still a very viable site, do not get me wrong, but it's just kind of odd that we're not seeing that basement defense, because that basement defense is just, I think, old reliable. Everybody loves it. And, well, the side of Outdeuced, or not Outdeuced, I apologize, but not Overdose, are opting to just kind of change things up just a little bit.
Yeah, Shook Squad here, look, they're playing downstairs. Of course, you're telling tellers, you're going to be playing on that horizontal hold. You'll see them open up holes, open rotations, and also rotate and make, or not rotate, but make reinforcements, put them in places that they would be in outside of sight, like open area, like on the stairs, south stairs, or inside a kitchen as well. So because you're going to see the attackers take upstairs, open up all the floor, and nobody on site is going to be safe. So that's why they're planning for that long horizontal hold here for Shook Squad.
Yeah, this is definitely opening up, as we can see. I think it was the Maestro downstairs, just opening up as many angles as possible, some long distance angles, because you have a couple ACOGs on the side of defense, and it just makes it so, yes, every attacker has an ACOG, but it makes the gunfight just a little bit more even and a little bit more winnable on the side of defense. So just a very, very horizontal play, and again, we can see it here. Jackal just waddling around upstairs. It's not something you typically see, as the entire upstairs has been gifted to the attack. A little bit questionable, in my opinion, because the upstairs part, especially attacking on this site, is very, very valuable. And the fact that there's not even one person upstairs, it kind of allows the attack to gain an asset that is really, really nice extremely early on with absolutely zero contestation. So a little bit odd here, but again, it's a horizontal hold from the side of Shook Squad, so not necessarily very surprising, as they're just going to probably rely more on their gunfights once this attacking side decides that, they have enough of the upstairs and they're going to be moving down. And talk about this, we're going to be seeing the first kill, as it's going to be the Zofia who tries to move down first, catches the bullets of Nile, and the Doc downstairs is able to find one. That's a lot of utility off the board if you're on the attacking side of things, and this is looking like a pretty solid start for the defense.
Yeah, this is actually a really good start for them. Again, more than anything, they're wasting so much time for the attack to drive out to these roamers, or at least try to get rid of them. So shots going to Nile as well. They're trying to slowly pinch out Nile inside open air. He is being supported by Roadrunner inside the kitchen as well. So he has support. He's not alone, so there could be refrag. But as I said, Nile goes down. Looks like he won't be finished up just yet, but here it is. Evil Clown will finish up Nile. Now a 4v4. But where's the time gone? Only a minute left on the board. Nobody's there anywhere near the site. There hasn't been a lot done when it comes to trying to execute here from the attacking team of Not Overdose. So as time runs out, what is their plan going to be to get on the site and plant the diffuser, or are they going to try to go for all the kills?
Yeah, even with upstairs control, we can see that time management is still an issue. In the first round, time management was the big kind of factor that allowed the defense to win. And it seems like that's going to repeat itself here. They have a lot of map control, but they're not doing much with it. Like you said, Toti is going to be the first person downstairs here that is actually going to still be alive and able to make his presence known on the site and open up some types of line of sight. So finally, we are seeing the attack getting fairly aggressive, but it's going to be the alibi all the way downstairs is able to find one that's going to be on the Thatcher. It's going to make it a lot harder for Thermite to open up those hard walls on the west side. And just like that, the defense is looking very, very good because there's only 13 seconds left.
30 seconds left to go. 10 seconds to go. He'll shoot a Prisma, so Evil Clown's position is now known. Jigs and Toddy can push in. Toddy pushes in first. He's taken by Garuda. There goes Jigs pushing well. He's going to start playing to the diffuser. Evil Clown gets Garuda though in a refrag. Now it's a 2v2, but Joe Shook Squad will stop the diffuser being placed. They'll down Jig, and Shook Squad win another round based on time. And not be able to place the diffuser in time for Not Overdose. And what a round though. This is Shook Squad just playing the defense to a T.
Round one, there was a very heavy roams presence from Shook Squad, and that's kind of what resulted in the side of not Overdosed. Well, they wasted a lot of time. That's what kind of it led to them having to push with only 15 seconds. The second round is almost a complete opposite, but it was the same result. There wasn't a lot of roam presence. It was a completely horizontal hold, so all of the roam presence was on the same floor as the site. So they had the upstairs, they had the downstairs, and in the end, it didn't result in anything. The entire team of Shook Squad wasted time once again, even without too many roamers on the board, and it worked very, very well for them. So time management right now for the side of Not Overdosed is definitely a major issue.
Well, finally going downstairs to CCTV and lockers for our last site for this round. As we say, well, I said not for the round, but for like the 3-round half. After this, they'll go back to upstairs. Usually you'll have to wait 2 rounds before you can replay a site you've won. So after this, we'll probably see them go back to CEO on Executive Lounge. But again, this will be a downstairs defense. So this is kind of the defense where they're kind of constricted to play as usual teams will play. But I'm interested to see if they play aggressive if you see Shook Squad play upstairs. That usually is that's not the norm usually. Norm is usually to stay all members on site.
Yeah, especially on this site, this is kind of where you would see that horizontal hold. The deepest roamer most likely being on those blue stairs is working as kind of an off-site anchor. That's kind of what I think Benji might be setting up to do here, as there is a shield. I thought I saw a shield at the top of those stairs.
I think you're right. I just can't see it.
There is a shield at the top of those stairs, and there is also a couple ADSs. So Nile with the shotgun. This is very, very typical play. Sometimes you actually have an Elo or maybe even a Valkyrie or a Warden. Anybody with a very good close quarter combat gun is most likely going to be sitting on those blue stairs, and it works out fairly well most of the time if the attackers don't necessarily have a good plan of clearing out that player. And right now, so far, clearing out roamers and just trying to get some type of advantage in your favor has been an issue for the attacking side. So this could work out very, very well for Shook Squad.
I definitely agree, though. Let's see a C4 thrown by Nile to waste a bit of C4. He tries to get aggressive and get the first kill. Because more than anything, he's going to take advantage of. Once they get rid of the EMPs, the grenade comes through. This is where the problem comes to play. But the shield's in the way, at least to deny any kind of rush in the site. And this is the kind of have to work together here for Not Overdose to use utility correctly and deal with Nile without losing members. Because we've seen time and time again in many other plays, many of them played high-level plays where they don't do the execute correctly, and they lose so many members in this fight against a shotgun of a member, whether it be Ward, whether it be a mute, whether it be any kind of character, Elo or such. Well, so this is kind of the turning point for Not Overdose. So they want to take the Elsa correctly. As you say, that looks like Toddy will try to push it with the surge. Oh, but actually it'll be Nile to make the first move and lose it to Smithers.
Yeah, Nile saw the sight of the sledge and got a little bit too excited and pushed out just a little bit too far. And unfortunately, yes, he wasted about half the round, but sometimes you want to frag out of those types of positions, and it also puts Benji in a spot where he is completely alone. If he gets pushed from the dirt tunnel, or if he gets pushed from the doorway to his left, he's basically guaranteed dead. He might find one, but there's not necessarily much he can do in these types of situations, as he's brought down to 20 health, and just one bullet from almost any gun is going to kill him. He's able to find a couple shots under the sledge, but it's going to be him who comes out worse for wear, as he does die, and just like that, it's going to be a 4v3 in favor of the attack. And this is the first time I think we've seen from the attacking team where they're actually taking advantage of their map control, and they are not slowing down and they are not stalling out, and map control and time management is not an issue for them.
Yeah, big thing too is that they got rid of a lot of defenders so they can now plant on site. They did lose their hard breacher, but it doesn't matter. Toddy gets rid of one, and now it's down to just Garuda in a 1v4 as he's downed one. He almost downs another, but he can't quite finish off the Jacko, and the Jacko will be Evil Cloud to finish him off from Garage. And not Overdose win their first attacking round here on Bank.
Yeah, like I said, this was the first time I think we saw the attack not have that time management issue. They got all their proper kind of checklists done, and they got everything they needed done, and then instead of stalling out and trying to figure out where they want to go, they just went for it, and it worked out very, very well for them. Half of that, though, could be a little bit of an issue on the side of Shook Squad. We saw that they did not want to go downstairs for the first 2 rounds, which is very surprising on quite possibly the most viable site. So maybe Shook Squad just isn't as comfortable on this basement defense, and that's kind of what allowed the attacking team to get a round there. But they are going to be going back downstairs to basement, so potentially we're going to be seeing a couple changes brought from the side of Shook Squad that allow them to kind of bring this one back here. But the one change we already are going to be seeing is the fact that Valkyrie is going to be used instead of the Mute. So I'm interested to see if this is going to be a Valkyrie shotgun, the same kind of play that we saw from the Mute, just a different operator. That could definitely work, but it's not. It is going to be the MPX. So they might be just kind of giving up that Blue Stairs hold as a whole and going for something completely different and more intel reliant, as we are seeing the Valkyrie in play. But we are just going to have to wait and see, as it looks as if they're kind of setting up for a blue hold once again.
Yeah, it's surprising. I wouldn't be so... Well, the big thing is you have Garter here with the shield as well, so maybe he's taking place in the delay, but having your smoke to be the one to hold Silver Stairs, yes, you could waste a lot of time with those smoke canisters, but the smoke canisters also could be what allows you to win the round later on, and once they take servers and they go to start to plant the diffuser in that default plant spot. Because those toxic canisters are very reliant on some of those winning some of these rounds. As you say, the Ultra's going to get the first kill onto Benji, though.
I think, was that a run out from Benji on the west side there?
It looks like that was, stock. That's a...
Yeah, so it looks like Benji was trying to get aggressive and running out of stock, unfortunately, is going to meet the grave very early on, and that's going to be a very valuable gun and also a very valuable roamer off the board, and that just gives the attack an advantage extremely early on, and they are going to be completely ignoring that Locker's blue side hold, and this allows the attack. They have upstairs control, they have mid-floor control, and they also are going to be able to get blue stairs control fairly easily. So this is a hold that is very reliant on strong site play and also using your utility properly. Like you said, those smoke canisters later in the later half of this round are going to be very, very valuable, especially with a hold like this where a push could come out very early on.
Yeah, it's weird they put the shield up. They have nobody behind it. All gets another kill on Anile as well, so there goes a C4 off the board. And it's already 2 kills for the attack as Toddy's using the shield to make sure somebody pushes him up those blue stairs, but nobody is for the moment. And now it's coming down to the last minute. But still, actually, no, I say that. There's a minute 40 left on the board. There's still so much time left for the attack here. They've already got 2 kills, so they have all the time in the world to do what they want. As you see them at least being a bit more aware, because you just see Evil Clown come from Garage last time. A bit more of it happening. He's going to open up that shield, and Toddy's going to push his way to servers. Nobody's there to stop him.
Yeah, already it just looks like they're going to be going for the same server push that we saw, but this time there's nobody to contend them, and it's just going to be a little bit more fast-paced. And with a minute left, there's still a lot of time they can work with. As yes, there's still a smoke on the board, but you also have a Maestro and a Kaid. So the site players definitely can clutch this out. We just have to see a lot of bait of utility from all of the attackers, and most kind of specifically the Thermite, who's most likely going to be planting it. As Kaid is going to be getting aggressive on this wall, waiting for someone to potentially peek it. He's able to find one that's going to be, unfortunately, not able to finish the kill. He's able to land a couple shots, but it doesn't really result in much. Evil Clown is going to go down, so it is going to be a 4v3, but with 40 seconds left, there's still so much time for this attack to bait out utility and do everything they need in order to get a plant down and force a retake from these defenders.
Yeah, very much so. It's kind of a slow going here as you see them try to push through. They're droning out. They're making sure what other angles the attackers can take before pushing this angle, because they don't want to lose anybody. They don't want to start losing bodies as they make this default push as Braxton all the way inside of the garage is making those shots. He's gonna finish him ultra with the headshot. He does take some shots on the Jig, but doesn't finish him off. Looks like Jig is taking damage from the smoke though. The Braxton takes down the Smithers as well, and now it's down to 2v2. And this is the issue with that default plant spot, is there's a lot of the angles you can lose. Garuda finished off Jigs, now down to just Toddy. Toddy gets one onto Braxton though. Now a 1v2 with the 30 seconds left to go and not enough time. The Shook Squad win that round based on time, and it definitely was a much better was the best last second sight hold from Shook Squad compared to before.
Yeah, which is weird because you heard me saying there's about 40 seconds left. That is a lot of time in Siege. And the fact that the attacking team wasn't really doing much with it is probably what led to that loss of a round. We saw every single attacker except the Sledge, who was up in open area, was in that default plant area. And until about 18 seconds, they weren't really doing much to bait out utility, to try to get a couple kills to maybe stop those long angles. There was not much there. And then once that 15-second mark came around, that's when they're like, okay, guys, we have to plant. And then that's why you saw Braxton inside of Garage from the long angle was able to find 3 kills. It was just really odd time management from the attacking team, because they were in a position where they could have kind of baited out utility, gotten a couple kills, maybe even put someone into Garage, and they had enough time to do that, but they just didn't do any of that, and they stalled out. It was a Cold War, and it resulted in them being forced into a position where they have to stick to plant. They only have 10 seconds left, and then they lose the round.
Yeah, very true. Is it just, yeah, unfortunately they had time to send someone into Garage to deal with Braxton inside Garage. They did last time. They did last time with Evil Clown running through there, but unfortunately they didn't do this time, and the only person that would really take a different angle was Toddy. Came from the main stairs, but it was too late at that point. Braxton had already gotten 3 kills, already finished off the people trying to plant inside the default plant spot. So we'll be going back to our first site, which will be upstairs CEO and Executive, hopefully seeing a different round from not Overdose.
And I think Shook Squad coming out of that round has got to be very, very confident, because it looked like that basement defense was something they weren't very comfortable with. And the fact that they were able to come back after losing the first time around on basement and winning it the second time around is going to allow them to not only go to different sites and just go to their more comfortable sites, but it lets them know, hey guys, we can win that site against this team. So we're really a 3-site team at this point, and this is looking very, very good for us. So they're definitely confident, they're definitely comfortable, and they also have a 3-1 lead, so 1 round away from securing the half here, and this is looking very, very good for them.
Yeah, very much so. Shook Squad at this point, but not playing that downstairs defense time. They only have 1 roamer of Benji. There's not that dual roam of one side inside servers, one inside of archives. It's just Benji on his own below it. All the defenders are now on site. So it's actually a very different hold from him. It's more of a vanilla hold, as you would say. It's the one you'd expect here on CEO. So this is where Overdose could take advantage of and actually win this fight out, as there's only 1 roamer they could deal with. It's Benji. They need to join him out though and get rid of him if they want to do this correctly.
Yeah, we've seen clearing out roamers hasn't been a problem for the attacking team. It's just how fast they do it. They normally get the kills on the roamers, but they get the kills and then they only have 30-40 seconds left, and then they have to organize their push, and then by the time they organize their push, they're only going to have 10-15 seconds left. And the fact that I don't think anybody's even droned out the Jaeger downstairs is a major problem. Nile on site with the Legion is able to find 1, but just like that, Evil Clown just walking downstairs is able to find Benji. That's going to be the Jaeger off the board. Like we were talking about, that was a very important kill. So it is going to be even slate here, 4 versus 4. But in terms of utility, the attack is going to be coming out worse for wear, because they do not have the stuns or the explosive charges from the Zofia anymore.
Yeah, big thing too is you still have the impact chick from Roadrunner as well to deny the external charges. So there's a lot of lost utility from that Zofia to stop maybe the impact checking from Roadrunner, so that makes it so they're kind of stuck here at the square. If they can't get that last external charge to go off, they still don't have people to get on the window maybe to do some more damage, get the crossfire and stop the impact shoot from Roadrunner, but they need to do it quick because there's only 39 seconds left to go. Time is running out here for the attackers in the Overdose. And still 1 more inside there. There's a long angle though from Valdahalby. Braxton get 1 kill. Braxton gonna take on Evil Clown as well. So it's Toady and Evil Clown down to Braxton. 1's on the window, Ultra on the window. Jigs trying to hold an angle, but 1's in Janitor Closet. Roadrunner gets Ultra on the window. Now it's down to Jigs outside of Janitor. He's being pushed by the person in Janitor, but he doesn't know where to look. Last 17 seconds left to go. He doesn't have much life. Not much to do with him, and he's gonna get finished off by a wallbang. Actually, it'll be Braxton again. 3rd kill. Finish Jigs off.
Yeah, Braxton on the round before this was able to find 3 kills on Maestro, and just once again on Valkyrie is able to find 3 kills, and it's really helping Shook Squad. There's definitely a couple situations where Shook Squad kind of seem to be on the ropes. They lost their Legion, and Legion's one of those operators where if he doesn't stay alive for a very long time, he's not as useful because he gets stronger as the round goes on. So the fact that Shook Squad, they lost their Legion as the second operator off the board behind the Jaeger, they kind of were in a position where an execute could come out if the attacking team just got that wall open. And once all the players tried to go support getting that wall open, it was Braxton from the long angle on that 90 degree kind of area, or canto as many people call it, was able to find 2 kills and finally found the third through the wall for ending the round. So really, really solid play from him all around, not only in that last round, but the round prior. And it's really allowed Shook Squad to kind of escape these situations where they might kind of slip and fall back into a loss. Braxton has kind of just pulled them right back up and just guaranteed round wins.
I agree too that Braxton's been very instrumental in some of these rounds, including some of these rounds. But same point, like before, we saw them attack the site before, we saw them impact trick before. So where was the, I guess the Zofia was dead though, so that's also an issue with that. I was losing Zofia, losing lifeline so early.
Yeah.
But again, if you lose your lifeline, you need to have somebody get those windows to put that pressure to deny that roam clear, or that impact trick in the first place. Because you saw them put the excellent charge on the wall and not expect the impact trick. That's what was surprising me. There's nobody on the window before that from not Overdose.
Yeah,
so
it's just
yeah, it's what's what I think. At least.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just a little bit unfortunate. They lost to Zofia early on, and they didn't have much utility to address the impact tricking, and then it just turned into again a situation where individual skill came to the surface. Braxton was able to find 2, and then the attacking team was left in a very unfortunate situation. And they also are still in a very unfortunate situation because it is 4-1, and we are facing a situation once again where 5-1 is on the horizon. Every game I've casted so far with you has been 5-1 going into the half for invitational quals, which is just kind of interesting because I've only casted 2 games before this, and then there was a game today and then this game. Every single time going into the half, it's been 5-1. I just thought that was kind of something interesting.
Well, hopefully this time it doesn't end in a 7-2 or 7-1 though.
Yeah, I sure hope not.
As you see the attack team here in the Overdose again, they'll be trying to plant their foothold upstairs and get rid of the roamers elsewise. They gotta drone out and make sure who's where, or wherever is at exactly, because last time they had an issue with dealing a lot of these roamers and figuring out where they are even.
Yeah, figuring out where the roamers are was half the battle. They were able to kill the Jaeger very early on, but it just took a very long time to, this was last round that is, it took a very long time to figure out where he was. And it's kind of the same situation here. They're in positions where they can kill the roamers and they can get these kills, but again, it's a time management issue. And we're sounding like a broken record at this point because we keep saying it's a time management issue, but it's a very, very important issue that the attacking team needs to address, as they are reaching actually past the halfway point, and there's not much for them. They haven't killed any of the defenders. They haven't gotten rid of much utility. Yes, they have upstairs control, but almost every round so far, the defense basically gives up upstairs control, and it's just going to be a completely horizontal hold. And the fact that they haven't really done much to deny that horizontal play is going to allow Shook Squad to play this fairly comfortably.
Yeah, very much so. Even if they have the sledge ups of Toddy, there's guys on site like Braxton and Garuda, and they haven't even dealt with them on site or caused them to push off site. If they can cause these people push off site, they can always go for the plant inside of tellers and allow for the attacker, or at least allow for these long range fights instead, as Toddy can open up the castle barricade and looking to go for a push into site and push into tellers to go for a plant. But it's only 30 seconds left to go. These are the rushed attempts that could cost them their lives, cost them the round.
We are going to see, though, on the side of the defense, they have been brought down to very, very little health. Both the Mozzie and the Maestro, and somewhat of the Valkyrie, they could just trip over their shoelaces and they're probably going to meet the grave. But 15 seconds left here. It's going to be an all-out push, and it's going to get very, very explosive. And that's inevitable at this point from the attack. And just like that, Smithers is able to find 1. Even Clown is able to find 2, making it a 5v3. But you only have 4 seconds left. You've got to get that plant down. If someone can kill the Thermite, it's going to be over. But just like that, they were able to plant it down. It's going to be a 4v1. So the rushed attempt, it works very, very well for the attacking squad here. That's not something we've seen that has worked for them prior to this round, but you got to start somewhere. But unfortunately, now they're going into the half.
Yeah, they go to half 4-2 in the favor of Shook Squad. But now, no, Overdose on defense. They have the advantage now of defense to bring it back. 4-2 is definitely better than 5-1. So this could be easily obtainable to come back to a tie here for Overdose. And now we need to see how Shook Squad does on attack. We saw from before. We'll see a Teller's Archives first defense from Overdose. This is definitely interesting to see.
Yeah, so we are going into the half now as it's kind of unfortunate because it looks like maybe not Overdosed. I keep wanting to call them Overdosed and Overdosed. There's a lot of variations of their name, but not Overdosed. It's kind of unfortunate now that they're going on defense because it looked like they might have finally figured out something on attack, which is just kind of that old school, everybody get in the site at the very last second style of play. But they're going to be on defense now, and this is a defender-sided map, so this is a great opportunity for them to maybe tie this game up. And once again, basement is not going to be the first option.
These teams just seem to want to be that out of ordinary, that very unorthodox team. They want to place different rounds, which is what wins the rounds. Like you saw some really dominant ones from Shook Squad on these defense sides where they played very differently, and so that's really what these teams to be going for. Again, we see this team that horizontal hold both this team just like we saw Shook Squad, but Shook Squad also bringing a very different operator lane, bringing both a Monty and a Nomad.
Yeah, so it seems as if the defense somewhat mirrors each other, but the attack is extremely different. I think Monty play on Bank works very, very well. You'll see on the upstairs site pushing Monty up those red stairs, on the downstairs site pushing Monty down those blue stairs. On this site, Monty's not necessarily as viable, but it's just one of those operators that is an absolute nuisance, and if you're not prepared for him, can be extremely hard to address and can easily allow the attack to win this round.
Yeah, big thing too is there's no soft breacher either, like a buck or a sledge, so there's not a lot they can do when it comes upstairs. So if anything, Shook Squad probably should more worry about, should more focus on getting rid of these roamers, taking control of some of this territory on the first floor, rather than even caring about the second floor. As you saw before in their own strategies, they didn't even care about the second floor. It didn't matter if they took it or not. So we'll see Garuda here pushing down these square stairs, and this is where we need to see Shook Squad do what not Overdose did not, at least, and push more for these first floor territories.
Yeah, and the only soft destruction on the side of the attack is going to be that Zofia, and Zofia is going to be more reliant on just trying to open up not sight lines, but walkways into sight for the Monty, instead of, like you said, a buck would be kind of upstairs trying to make the defense downstairs as uncomfortable as possible. Unfortunately, with the operator choice, the attacking team cannot do that. But Nomad already making a presence known on this main stairway. This is a very, very common place for almost any attacker, just waiting for potentially someone to rotate and you could see their feet across and get a free kill. But already time management is completely different from the side of Shook Squad, as they are opening up lines of sight and they are getting into situations and into positions where they could already push on the site. This is looking at a lot faster pace than the attack from the side of not Overdosed. So this is looking really nice for Shook Squad. Not Overdose. I don't know what it is with that name, but it keeps getting me confused.
But here you say not Overdosed.
Outdosed. Yeah, it keeps me confused.
But the wall isn't opened up with a minute left to go. They have time to plant, but again, these long angles are the problem. So again, they're having these angles. Roadrunner covering this elevator hallway along with Garuda trying to probably cover Braxton as he tries to plant would be the big thing here, and allow them to plant would be the big thing too, because we never saw not Overdose able to plant in all of these rounds, and that's gonna be different here for the attack if they're able to do that. Neither taking a lot of damage and engagement against the Valkyrie of Toddy. Toddy will lose the fight. He's trying to reload onto a 4v5 with 34 seconds left to go. Braxton sees he's waiting for some kind of C4 or some other device to stop him from planting as they're trying to bait out any more utility, but time's running out. What other utility can they bait out? This is what the defense wants, as Benji sees Wendo lying down right behind the gun, and he'll do a lot of damage, not finish him off though. It's unfortunate. Ultra's still alive. Garuda begins to plant the diffuser. Benji gets Ultra though. Now down to now it's up to a 5v3. Plants down. This is very much not in the favor of the defense.
Yeah, we actually see 2 down, so it is effectively a 3v3 now, but trying to retake against a Monty is extremely hard, and time is now 100% against the defenders, but it is still a 2v1. Evil Clown is able to find another, and it's actually going to be all up to the Monty, so this retake from the side of not Overdose. What is with that name? It is so hard, but it does not matter how hard their name is, as they are able to bring a round back that they definitely should not have been able to. And just like that, winning their first round on defense, it's very, very good for them. It's definitely going to give them quite a bit of confidence, as that retake from them was absolutely perfect.
Yeah, that was actually looking to be a much better round for a much better. It looked to me so much better attack here from Shook Squad compared to an Overdose. Able to get the plant down, but instead you saw not Overdose able to take these rounds back, able to take the kills back and make it a even man count until they started to kill the rest of the attackers covering the diffuser. And overall, fantastic work from that Overdose. They're one round out from tying it up. Definitely interested to see if they can bring this back to a tie game.
Yeah, as one more round and they have tied things up here. And like you said, the attack from Shook Squad, it looked a lot better than the attacks from not Overdosed, but it was just a really solid retake from them. And like I said, I really thought with that Monty in play, trying to retake against a Monty is almost impossible, but you also have to have some type of support, because Monty is not necessarily known for his gun, because he only has a pistol. But the fact that basically all the support that the Monty had got completely outfragged and just died very, very quickly right after that plant was down, it put the Monty in an unfortunate situation. Shook Squad couldn't do much to bring that one back, and it was just, again, a really solid retake from not Overdose, and they were able to get closer and closer to potentially tying this game up. But we are now going to be going downstairs to Mr. Old Reliable Bomb Site, and already we can see the hold from the side of not Overdose is considerably different from Shook Squad. They are going to be bringing a Warden and also a Pulse. I don't think there was a Pulse on the side of Shook Squad, if I'm not mistaken, on this site.
Not this side. Not this side. Yeah, not this side.
Yeah, on this side, I don't think there was a Pulse. There was Pulse was played, but not on this site. And they also are bringing a Warden, and most of the time Warden is going to sit at the top of those blue stairs and do the exact same thing that we saw the Mute do from Shook Squad on the first round on this site. But looks like they're going to be opting for something slightly different, as Warren's just going to be waiting on Dirt Tunnel. So completely different hold here from the side of not Overdosed, as we're going to just have to wait and see exactly how the attack responds.
It seems like the attack also Shook Squad were looking, maybe thinking that was going to be an upstairs hold, because they brought the Blackbeard, which again in Windows is very powerful, but there's no Windows you play. There's no really repelling positions for Blackbeard to be playing in this kind of sites. Though we'll see what happens to see how it play out. Maybe he'll work out no matter what. As we'll see now, how are they going to attack this? What are they going to take first? They need to deal with servers, or are they going to make for a back push? Back server push isn't very often being played. Interesting if they pulled it out though.
Yeah, as we also see, most of the time Pulse is going to be playing involved, but because it's the early half of the round, there's not necessarily anybody going for that default plant spot. You're going to probably see Pulse just kind of running about. And actually the shield, I don't know if it's got destroyed. Yeah, no, the shield has been already destroyed on blue stairs here. So they definitely know someone is playing blue stairs, and they have gotten the utility to clear out the shield. But the side of Shook Squad hasn't necessarily made a move on to the Warden playing here, which is pretty smart in my opinion, considering that he has a shotgun, and the shotgun's probably going to win that gunfight every single day of the week. So until Benji gets in a more favorable position where he could potentially pinch out the player on blue stairs, I don't necessarily think pushing is going to be smart, but just like that, they do push it, and it results in 2 kills going in favor of the defense. Benji is able to find the final kill onto Smithers, but it doesn't necessarily matter, as it is a 4v2 completely in favor now of the defense. But it's going to be Garuda sneaking his way down the main stairs with that big shield over his face, is able to find one, making this a little bit more doable. And now just waiting potentially for someone to walk into his crosshairs. He's able to find another one. Unfortunately, does not finish the kill, and a pickup is going to be coming out. So it's effectively a 3v1 situation for the Thermite. Looks like he's going to have to be Fragmite in this type of spot. And it's not necessarily looking too good, as there's so many angles on him and there's so many bullets flying his way. And unfortunately for Shook Squad, they looked so good on attack. My apologies. They look so good on defense, but they're starting to lose grip on attack, and just like that, is a 4-4 game.
Yeah, that was a very surprising round. It was a really fast start from the other rounds, but this round we saw from Shook Squad was very slow. And not only that, they weren't able to get rid of Smithers on the blue stairs. He got 2 kills, and then you also had Evil Clown holding position inside of CCTV to get rid of any other attackers pushing into servers. So really good work from Overdose, and just overall Shook Squad definitely. And I know it is harder to fight downstairs CCTV and Stalkers. It's a lot harder site to take, but in the end, there wasn't a lot of coordination when it came to trying to deal with Smithers on those stairs. And so of course we're going back upstairs now to the third site. We'll be going to CEO and executive for their third site of Not Overdose. See if they can do it 3 times just like we saw from Shook Squad.
Yeah, so going back upstairs here, we saw the upstairs attack from Not Overdosed was plagued by time management issues. And so far from Shook Squad, their attack hasn't really had any time management issues. It's kind of been more fundamental issues or just really good play from the side of Not Overdosed. So I'm very interested to see exactly what's going to happen here. So 4-4 now though, and I think something we have to talk about is the fact that Shook Squad had so much momentum. They were up 4-2 on a defender-sided map, and they were going on to... They were up 4-2 on a defender-sided map, but they were going on to attack, and they probably had a lot of confidence going into the attack. But now, they've given up 2 rounds. They had a really good first round, but unfortunately, it was just an incredible retake from the defense. And now they just had a pretty lackadaisical second round on attack, and now they're on the 3rd round of attack, and it's tied up. It just kind of seems like a lot of things are going up against them right now, and we're going to have to see exactly how strong their mental capabilities are in these types of situations.
Yeah, very much agreed though. They're definitely losing their momentum, losing their track of what they're doing so far. But again, it is a defense side map, so hopefully they're not being too worried about this so far. As we see them, they are bringing the Blackbird once more. We'll see the sledge come up from Needle, so maybe they're thinking different sites, but at least they brought the Blackbird this time. His shield could be a lot more helpful on the window play, making those crossfires at the windows of CEO. And more than anything, to see how they're going to take the site. Are they going to try and go from the square and do that same push and maybe run into the same kind of issues that you saw from Not Overdose? Or is it going to be a different take altogether? Big thing though, there is not a lot of roam game here from Not Overdose though. It seems to be there is a couple members downstairs, but they're waiting in regards to pouncing. They're not being aggressive just yet.
Yeah, there's not really much going on for these roamers, as it looks like the Jaeger might be able to find one who's lurking downstairs, but yeah, and just like that he is, and Smithers is able to find the first kill. That's going to be the Zofia off the board. Once again, the Zofia, the first one dead on this site. That's a lot of utility that is very, very valuable that unfortunately is dead very, very quickly. And I think there was a run out outside.
Yeah, he jumped out the window.
And he jumped out the window and he did not get killed. Most of the time there's always an immediate refrag after that, but we did not see that here. And just like that, the attack is down to 2 bodies, but it is going to be a 3v2 as Thatcher does his best to try to kind of make things a little bit more doable.
Yeah, it's coming down to the last... Oh yeah, it's coming to the last minute. Roadrunner at least got 1, but a lot of the defenders are on site waiting for a position, ready to pounce on these attackers as they push in. There's still the cams of Valkyrie as well. IQ wasn't brought, so these cams are probably being left unchecked, which is unfortunate for the attackers of Shook Squad. Roadrunner does see one to his left inside of a small office. It will be the Legion take his head get off. It was Jig get taken by Roadrunner, but now it's a 2v2 with 40 seconds left to go. They have sight, but we've seen some pretty good sight retakes from Overdose though.
Yeah, we've seen a really, really good site retake, and this time it's going to be a little bit, almost an easier retake, but it's going to be Roadrunner once again able to find another kill, and it's going to be all up to the Bandit in a 2v1 situation, where also the diffuser is being a problem, and it does not matter. It's not even going to be able to get to the diffuser, as Roadrunner with 4 kills is able to secure that round for Shook Squad, and on a very slippery slope Shook Squad was, but they were able to kind of gain some traction just a little bit and start climbing up that mountain once again as they prevent Not Overdose from gaining that lead.
Yeah, big thing too for that one was the fact that they're able to win 1 round out of the 3 when it comes to those 3 sites. That's a very big thing when it comes to the defense side map, is winning that 1 site, 3rd site, whether it be one of those sites on the 3-round rotation. And as we go back to the 3 rotation, we'll go back to the first site they got to for Not Overdose. It'd be Tellers and Archives once more. And so that's what Shook Squad's done differently here from Not Overdose, and it's what probably could win them the game.
Yeah, absolutely. As we are moving into round 10, and we are seeing that Shook Squad is 1 round away from match point. And match point, it's extremely important because 1 more round the team wins, but also match point, just seeing it on top of your screen when you are the team that is down, it just kind of hurts your mentality just a little bit, because you know 1 little mistake, 1 little mishap here or a misstep there, you're gonna lose this map. So right now the main objective, and I think the main objective all the time in Siege, is just trying to prevent match point for as long as possible. So the defense they need around here. We saw last time around on this site, it was a really, really good site execution from the attacking team, and they were able to get the plant down. But it was not Overdose who had an incredible retake, and were able to bring it all back. The thing is, though, lightning doesn't strike the same place twice, which could be said for both of these teams. We could easily see a really flawed attack that goes completely against the really good attack that that Shook Squad had the first time around on this site, or we could see a good attack, but we won't see the incredible retake that we saw from Not Overdose. So we really don't know here, because this is one of those sites where it looked like it was going to go in Shook Squad's favor, but it was just great play from Not Overdose that allowed them to bring this site back. So this is kind of interesting to see that they opted to go to this site once again on a round as important as preventing match point. But we're just going to have to wait and see exactly what has changed for both the attack and the defense.
It was a bit of mind games. I feel like they picked this site because they lost. It was either replay CEO, go to this site, or go to open area, and that's kind of hard choice to make in a sense like that. So I think they're more comfortable going back to the first that they won. We do see at least a bit of an adaptation, at least a read from the attack to bring the buck along. Needley playing the buck now, able to open the floor up and deny some of the plays, at least displace the anchors, make sure they have a coast clear that they go for that same push they did in the first round, and see Needley going to work. You see breach charges being used by Roadrunner as well, and just so much destruction being done to this floor, which will just cause the life of the anchors just that much painful. But Ultras has a shotgun available. He's waiting for a chance to shotgun somebody coming through, and most of the defenders now actually have left sight. So this is what coast clear. This is probably what they're looking for here for Shook Squad.
As we see a lot of remodeling on the floor above the site, and it's just kind of trying to make the defense as uncomfortable as possible, as that is 100% the job of the Buck, because not only do you have nades, but you just have great soft destruction capabilities, and it kind of forces the defenders into positions they don't necessarily like being in. That's exactly what Nile is trying to do. Unfortunately, to no prevail, as he hasn't been able to find a kill, but one thing that has happened is the fact that Shook Squad have already opened up the entire west wall of tellers, and so many lines of sight have been opened up, not only above the site but also horizontally for the site, and this is definitely going to be making quite a lot of defenders uncomfortable, and a plant could easily be on the horizon here for the attacking squad.
To say that Ultra gets a C4 into Garuda from below service stairs. That's the first good kill. It's also Jackal off the board too, so a lot of these defenders now have an easier time not being tracked by the Inox. And so now at this point, there's no shield operator, there's no Monty this time to allow for Braxton to get protected. So this is where the problem could come. Roadrunner gets one Ultra. That's a refrag, but someone's right blow. It'll be actually Toddy right inside of Archives. Deny the plan from Braxton. Now it's a 3v4. His defense is having a lot easier time dealing with these long angles. Neely's above, but again, this above angle doesn't help him. All of these angles are taking are off the sights, or off in angles they can't even see. Some pings do come out onto Evil Clown, now down to 15 seconds.
Yeah, so you're going to have to plant here, or you're going to have to go for kills, and it looks like they're going to be going for the plant as Nile finally joins the push on his site. He's able to find one. It's going to be a 2v3, and Evil Clown does not have that angle anymore, but is able to find one, but cannot find the planter. And just like that, the diffuser is down, but it's going to be a 2v1, and everyone just dies. As good luck trying to say who killed who in that type of situation, but it does not matter. The defense are able to stay alive and prevent match point for just a little bit longer, making it a 5-5 game.
That was, again, a really good retake from the defenders, but again, also allowing, it's just that this time around they had no Monty to really help them deal with these shots, these long angles, and that's really what, again, attritioned Shook Squad from keeping the site, or keep able to plant without losing so many members. It kind of happened the first time too, is even with the Monty, they still lost a lot of members, but at least they had the Monty to protect it for as long as possible, but even that didn't really work out. So again, it just seems like Shook Squad having problems with those long horizontal angles. It's surprising they're not trying to just, roam clear them before planting in the first place.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing a blitz come into play, as never mind, it's going to be 6th picked on to another shield operator, but it is going to be the Monty this time around. So Monty now attacking basement. This is kind of what I probably was expecting Shook Squad wanted to do in the first place, because I think Monty is just a little bit more viable on basement or all the way upstairs, because you can push those Monty up the red stairs, or you can push Monty through dirt or down those blue stairs, and it really allows the attack to just gain control very, very quickly. Because last time around on this site, the attack had a pretty hard time clearing out that Warden on blue. And with the support of a Monty as well as a Zofia to potentially stun out that Warden, or maybe even a Jackal coming from below dirt, it's going to make that clear just a little bit easier for the attack.
Yeah, I definitely agree. The Monty there could definitely take a lot of the brunt of damage to the shotgun right there, allowing him just to walk into the server stairs. Good pinch could deal with them. So the question is there going to be someone supporting the the Warden of Smithers here when it comes to covering servers? Because if they can't control servers and they kind of squish Smithers into server stairs, that could easily be a kill for the defenders. But I say that it's actually been upstairs hold from, or somewhat upstairs hold, as they've reinforced some of the walls in small office. They've also opened up the hatch into CCTV and opened the hatch into servers as well.
Yeah, so this is a little bit of a different hold from the last time we saw this team on basement. But it's also a different attack, like we said, with that Monty in play. So going into the action phase here is kind of your default, just trying to drone everything out and get as much intel as possible. But something that is interesting is the fact that Jackal is completely separated from the rest of the team and is also completely separated from the push that is most likely going to be coming out later in the round. So as Todi, unfortunately, is having a very hard time trying to shoot that drone. But right now, seems like the main focus of this attack is kind of widespread and just clear out roamers and then kind of do your thing style. Because Jackal all by himself, the Monty is just kind of waiting for something to happen on blue stairs. It's just a little bit spread thin here from the attacking team, and this is something that we have not seen from them before, but it's turning out fairly well as nobody has died yet, as well as the fact there's a lot of control for the attacking team. But just like that, it's going to be an immediate refrag and trade there as Pulse goes down and Zofia goes down. But that's definitely a trade in favor of the attack. Without a C4 and without that intel, it's going to make this plant for the attackers just a lot easier.
I definitely agree. That was an interesting trade. That was having a very quick kill from both teams. But the problem is now it's now a minute 18. They have the time to really bait out this utility. But at the same point, Jigs with the Alda inside the garage. That's an angle they need. But they have the Monty to deny those bullets. The Monty, though, can't deny the smoke canisters as well, though. So this will need to be a kind of a tandem push, a tandem joint effort from the defense to deny the plant, also to allow for Jigs to get an angle with that Alda. So one smoke is Neely gets a kill onto Evil Clown, though, so it's a C4 off the board from Evil Clown. The smoke cannon is still doing damage and dealing with it, but there's still no death though. And actually, the Diffuser will go down. Actually, Neely gets into the kill. Smithers now down 2v3.
Yeah, 2v3 now and make it a 1v3 with the plant down. So we've seen one very, very good retake from this team, but I don't necessarily know if they can do it here. It's a 1v3, and it's also on the basement defense, and, well, looks like they were just letting the choppa sing there as Maestro just did not take his finger off of that left mouse, and that's a really solid round from the attack. The ability to kind of come back after losing that site the first time around and bring it back to now they are on match point. It puts them in a really, really nice position.
Yeah, surprisingly that round, there was also a lot of good kills here from the attack. I don't know if it was maybe the defense being somewhat too aggressive or just peeking their own angles, but still either way, you saw some really good shots from Strict Squads to deal with the defenders and really put it in their favor in the first place. So we'll be going back downstairs for not Overdose and see if they can bring it to overtime rather than a win for Strict Squad.
Yeah, so forcing it to overtime is the only thing that not Overdose can do, as we're seeing some just nice shots and talking about how good the Kaid play from Evil Clown has been. And that's something we do have to talk about. The fact that Evil Clown has been winning some of these gunfights and also winning them extremely quickly is incredibly impressive. And Kaid has a good gun, don't get me wrong, but you have to hit your shots, and Evil Clown has definitely been hitting his shots and has kept his team in some of these rounds quite a bit. But going back downstairs, so getting a little bit stubborn is the defense here as they decide that, hey, you know what? This is probably our most reliable site. Let's just try it one more time. I don't necessarily know how this is going to turn out for them, because we saw the first time around, Shook Squad wasn't able to attack this site successfully. Second time around, they were able to attack it successfully. And the second time around is a lot closer to this time around. And maybe it's just that kind of momentum that Shook Squad could easily be carrying over is what gives them this round, especially on this site.
Well, big thing too, they're not trying those different defenses. Again, having the CCTV hatch open maybe was the issue last time too, because they had the hatch open, which definitely allowed for a lot of angles for the attack. So it seems as though this time around we have the defense of Overdose really sticking to the normal defense type hold, covering those hatches, making sure they can't be taken between angles, and we'll see if they can hold these blue stairs from Garuda on the Monty this time though. Nobody's actually on blue stairs this time, so it's actually somewhat different. There's no Warden on the board. LG Smithers on us by himself as he sees the Monty. Looks like he's gonna back off in the moment. He's trying to fight back actually.
Yeah, it looks like the Monty just kind of stuck in a stare off with the Jaeger, and the Jaeger playing it smart knows that potentially someone's going to come pushing right behind the Monty, but Monty just, again, it's a staring contest right now for these two. And Smithers is wasting a little bit of time, and this is kind of what you want from your Jaeger. He's doing his job, and he's going to retreat and save his life. Retweet. Whoa, Twitter. He is going to reach. I can't even say it now because now I'm confused. But he's going to save his life. He's going to play it smart, and he's going to be able to rotate all the way back upstairs. So he's now in a position where he could make his presence known elsewhere and also waste some more time. So Jaeger is playing this very, very well.
That's actually surprising that they allowed him to rotate all the main stairs back up to the top of square now. He's now in a position to flank and get a kill onto the attackers. Now with the server hatch open, he have an angle onto servers. He could kill the Monty as well actually from the server's angle.
Yeah, I don't think anybody even knows that he's here, and that's going to be a major issue. As as Thermite just walks right past the Jaeger, and Jaeger is going to be able to get the down on the Thermite, able to confirm the kill onto Roadrunner. That's going to be the diffuser, as well as a Monty down, and Smithers with the rotate. Unfortunately, he downs two people and was only able to confirm one kill, but he wasted a lot of time. He was able to kill the Thatcher, and he also brought a lot of the attacking operators very, very low on health. So really smart rotate from him. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to find the 3 kills that he probably should have got, but in the end, it was still a really solid play.
Well, the big thing too, now they're low on HP, these smokes are that much more dangerous now for the Shook squad, as the Monty and Spraction here could easily go down to the smoke, so they have to play as well. But Neely has the above angle inside of CCT, or above the angle. C4 though will kill, actually no, it'll be actually the gun TCSG to finish off Spraction. Now Benji behind the shield, starting to play with Fanting. There's actually a push from the defense. They get rid of one. Tony gets 2, Evil Clown gets Neely, and we're going to OT, everybody.
Finally, we have a very close game like we were talking about earlier on. It was always just seemed to be 7-1s, 7-2s, maybe a 7-3, but we have a 6-6 on our hands, and we are going into overtime. This is the very first overtime game in Invitational Quals that I have casted, and what better time to do it. These two teams are just kind of neck and neck right now, and they are flirting with the lead, and the lead is just going to have to determine who it wants to go home to in these next 3 rounds, because this isn't infinite overtime, correct?
Nope, not overtime. So big thing was that.
Yeah, so this, 3
Shook
round
squad
overtime.
picked the side in general, but now because it was not Overdose's map pick, they picked the side and so they're on defense first. They got 2 rounds of defense. We'll get 2 rounds of attack from Shook squad. So this could go over to not Overdose. Hard to say though. Can't exactly predict that.
Yeah, I think predictions in this game kind of went out the door, because in my opinion, if I would put money on a team when it was 4-2, I was like, oh, Shook squad I think have this. They're going on a defense on a defender side of the map. I think they have this one in the bag. But as we see, I would have been completely wrong, and it is 6-6 going into overtime. And yeah, like Benny, like you just said to him in chat, we were a little bit sad that Smithers was only able to confirm one of those kills, because he could have easily found a 3K, and if he found the 3K, it could have resulted in potentially a 4K. But we never know. That's kind of a butterfly flaps its wings situation. You don't know what's going to happen after that. But back onto defense for the 3rd time in a row now. What is the attack? Yeah, what is the attack going to bring differently that changes this? Because last round, it was convincingly in favor of the defense. But the round before that, it was pretty one-sided in favor of the attack. And now we're in a situation where both teams have gotten their taste of victory on this site. What's going to be different here?
Well, they brought the Nomad this time, so Gruda drops the Monty, brings a Nomad, and I guess they're scared of Smithers rotating, but that's really an issue of not holding those main stairs that happened. That allowing for him to run up those main stairs without anybody noticing was definitely an issue for Shook Squad. You'll see Benji inside of the sewers at this point, so we're slowly making our way into this round, and I wonder how if they can take this slow or what and how they're going to take control. Again, there's nobody playing server stairs this time though, so they can take control of servers and they deal with Smithers immediately and don't allow him just to run back up main stairs.
Yeah, I think that was definitely the linchpin in the attack last time around. The fact that Smithers was able to sit on blue, waste a lot of time, rotate all the way back upstairs, and get technically a 3K. Well, he could have gotten a 3K. He only got 1 kill, but he was able to down just 2 operators. That's just kind of a really, really major problem that most likely the attack is going to try to address. But C4 comes flying out. It is not going to land, as Kaid is playing this hatch extremely aggressively, and unfortunately is going to be looking the wrong way as Benji is able to find 2 easy kills. It's going to be on the Smithers and Evil Clown, who both unfortunately were caught with their pants down. It's going to be your Jaeger and Kaid off the board, 2 extremely important guns, and also 2 extremely important operators to hold down that server side. It's a really strong start and really good entry frag there from Benji.
Yeah, that's a really good start. Again, Benji has a really good pinch from the defense, or from the attack, as Shook Squad with some members, and Jigs taking a lot of damage, takes a Neely though, so there goes the Jackal, but still, it's a 3v4 with the health in the favor of the attack, so it's still looking to be the favorite for Shook Squad. Another kill though, actually, it'll be a headshot from Toddy to finish up Garuda, and now it's down to a 3v3. Benji gets another though for third for the round, be Ultra. That's a 2v3. There's time and there's a place to plant if they need to, but the Alda is still in place, holding a long angle.
Yeah, we are going to be seeing a plant potentially come down, and you don't have a smoke on the board on defense, so the C4 was going to be kind of your only chance at denial, as well as those Maestro cams, but Maestro is now dead. The plant does not come down, and it is going to be a 1v2. You have a UMP, which isn't the best gun in the world. This is definitely doable, but the one problem for the Pulse here is the fact that the attack has just so much time, and most likely that plant is going to be coming down. Right now, the Pulse's only option is really to just try to push as aggressively as possible, and now it's going to be a retake situation with 2 ACOGs riddled onto his head. Let's see what Toddy can do. He tries to go for 1, and unfortunately, he's not able to land the shots. It's going to be Roadrunner who comes out there winning that gunfight, and just like that, 7-6 now. It's going to be Shook Squad taking the first round into OT.
Yeah, that's very surprising. You see, so we've seen 4 different attempts from Not Overdose to hold that site. 2 wins, 2 losses. Was it 4? No, 3. Yep. So you've seen is it 3?
No, it was 4. It was 4.
4.
It was 2 wins, 2 losses. Because it's split evenly now between the teams.
Split evenly on that site, which is crazy to see from them. And then now we see the.
And we're going again. Yeah, we're going again onto the basement. So I think this is now 4 times in a row on this site. So, but obviously the sides have switched because it is overtime. It's not like completely the same over and over and over again, but it is going to be the same site, just a different team. So on the side of Shook Squad, I don't exactly remember. No, they won this site once and they lost it once when they were on defense. So again, it's still extremely even on this site, which is interesting. And it's also kind of interesting why in a very important round like this, why are you kind of going to a site like this? I think most likely the idea behind it is the fact that it's basement. Everybody knows basement. It's very, very comfortable. And when you have a lot of pressure on you to just either get a win or prevent a loss, you want to go to the spot that you are most comfortable in, even if it means the other team is also comfortable in that particular area.
Yeah, it's true. It's weird because we've seen them when they lost the site though. It was actually a really good pinch from the attackers. Again, we had Evil Clown coming in as the Jackal that round, getting a lot of kills from Garage, which was a really good time to get rid of Braxton, who was holding the angle with that Alda. But then the second time they lost this is because Overdose, they all were like literally 3 out of 4 of them were on the default plant spot, allowing for the Alda Braxton to get all the kills. So again, it just seems like that those 2 rounds are really weird in my sense. So it's definitely odd to predict in any sense. We'll see Toddy already making it through, Nile upstairs. So then again, there's not a lot of roam game here from Shook Squad. It's gonna be the plain old, same as always, pretty much holding the server stairs, make sure service takes as long as possible to take for the team.
Yeah, as well, we have another player. It's actually going to be the Pulse playing on blue. This is not something you typically see. Pulse doesn't have the best gun in the UMP for really any type of combat, mid-range, long-range, or close quarters. It's kind of a sucky gun, to be honest. And, well, he's going to retreat God, retweet. What is that? I don't know. That's my thing today. But he's going to retreat back into site and go to his more comfortable spot in vault. This is typically where you see a pulse played. And maybe you'll see an operator rotate to replace him on those blue stairs, but I don't think that is going to be happening. As no, it's not, as Smithers is able to just walk freely down these blue stairs and also get control of server. So no defenders on blue, no defenders in server. And that's going to offer up quite a bit of control here for the attacking team, as well as the fact they still have a lot of time to work with that control.
Yeah, there's so much time. There's still Smoking Boy Gerudo has there's a lot of utility in the side of the defense here, but at the same point, they have a lot of time to deal with it. Again, you also have to deal with the fact that the Alda of Braxton is in the garage though, so last time they didn't deal with this, they need to do it this time before they go for this push, because they can't allow for the Alda, they can't allow for Braxton to just rack up kills on the angle on default plant spot. So a minute and 10 left. I do believe at this point they're trying to bail utility, though I say that they haven't gotten the wall open either yet though, it seems like. I don't exactly know what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused in exactly what the main objective here of the attack is. Most of the time you want to get that wall opened very early on so you can bait out utility with as much time as possible to spare. But you know what? They got it open now, as it looks like they are trying to do. Yes, they are going to 100% confirm it open, and they have 45 seconds now to try to bait out utility, and they are able to bait out one smoke. But again, it's, I think, a time management issue for Overdose, because they're 30 seconds left and there's still 2 smokes on the board. You have a Maestro cam on the board. You have a C4 on the board. You have 2 C4s on the board. And it's just not looking really, really good for the attacking team.
Yeah, there's just wasting so much time here. Again, the issue is too is you have the Alda sitting in garage. He is waiting for someone to push through in garage. It looks like they'll be able to push through. The one on the main stairs will be Ultra. Nope, I say that Braxton will be Evil Clown. On the main stairs will be down. Here goes Benji, get Ultra as well. Neela gets 2, and Garuda finishes off Jigs, and Chook Squad with a flawless round. They'll take 8-6 on Bank.
A very, very close game, but I think the downfall of Overdose is the fact that their time management on every single attack was an issue. It was, I mean, all the way to the end there. We saw they had literally everything you want to push onto that site on basement, and then they just didn't open the wall. I don't know what obviously there might have been something that we don't know, and there was a reason why they weren't opening up that wall earlier on, but they got server control around the halfway point in the round, and then they got the wall open around 40 seconds left in the round, and 40 seconds to try to bait out 3 smokes, 2 C4s, destroy the Maestro cams, destroy the lawn angles, and kill people. That's not a lot of time. You have a lot of things to do and not a lot of time to do it, and unfortunately that's kind of what led to the demise of not Overdosed, and just like that, in a very, very close game, the first close game I think I've ever casted for Invitational so far is going to go in favor of Shook Squad. But I mean, I think overall the big takeaway is that was a really fun game to watch.
Oh, definitely. That was a fantastic game to watch. Definitely, you definitely see the whole little bit of flaws. Like, both teams have their mistakes, but it's nothing too crazy. It's just little mistakes you have to fix here and there. And overall, sometimes I feel like that, you know, not Overdose get a bit confused with their attacks. They sometimes lost themselves a little bit. But again, these teams are working together, trying to get better. So more anything, seeing them play, seeing them improve in the future is always we want to see. And that's what every team wants to do here, is make it to qualifier or the close qualifiers. Only because maybe get a chance to go to Sensational, but more get a chance to play against those other teams that are so up there, those Pro League teams, those CL teams as well, Challenge League teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't exactly know when the next round starts, but I think we are going, the next round actually, wow, 10 minutes is very quickly. So in 10 minutes, we are going to be moving on to a new game.
10 minutes now, but we're 4 minutes in the past.
Okay, yeah. Well, the viewers can figure that one out. But we are gonna be moving on to a different game here very, very shortly. We don't exactly know which one it is going to be, but we're just gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, we're back, guys, a little bit. We're back at 10 o'clock EST, 10 p.m. EST with our last game of the night. Again, I've been Caster Benny out, joined by the lovely Red. See you all in a little bit.